Hi, I am Sunjoy Monga. I'm from Mumbai, a naturalist, writer and photographer. And I've been documenting ever since I can remember from my childhood days, chronicling natural history, environmental issues, and more than that, biodiversity aspects, pan-India, and a lot of it in the Mumbai region. Yeah, well, when I was about 6, we moved to Kandivali in northwestern Mumbai, which was then a veritable forest, with all orchards and a lot of greenery and a little river, a real river running right behind our house. So it was just a fascinating sort of a opener to a young child, to a curious mind. And fortunately, my dad got me a little box camera in those days, which is in the late 1960s, and I started taking a few pictures. And then after that, pretty soon after that, in fact, when I was in 10th, I think I got also a Nikon F, which was a bulldozer of a camera, and I started taking a lot of pictures with it. And one of my earliest pictures when I was still in high school or early college appeared on the cover of the Oberoi magazine, Soma magazine, and that really sort of fascinated me, because to see your picture and your name there, it was, in fact, when they gave me a check, I didn't even have a bank account. So it was wonderful, I mean, the stepping sort of the wilderness around my home was a stepping stone to just looking at things and photographing them, observing them. More than photography, it was observing them initially, and then obviously the camera came as a very effective tool in sort of teaching me a lot more about natural history. Well, nature is a great inspiration at any time. I mean, you could just sit down anywhere and watch something. It's always sort of revealing. There's never an end to nature, and that's what's fascinating about it. And that's what has inspired me the most. Well, yeah, I mean, planning, there are both sides to it. There's both planned photography, and there is, just unplanned. You always have a camera ready because something or the other just lands up. Even right now, the house we stay in Mumbai, in Lokhandwala complex, I mean, one would scarcely imagine that to be a nature lover's sort of an area, and yet right around my house, and in fact right in my house, I have so many birds nesting and so much photography that I do. So I have one camera always ready just for any eventuality that arises at any moment. And the second is of course planned, because when I work on themes, on books or on projects, obviously then you plan out trips. There's a lot of trips which are there pan-India, or also sometimes overseas in some Southeast Asia or wherever that we do some photography in. So obviously those are sort of planned trips wherein we know what we are going in for. But again, in that planning also, there's a lot of arbitrariness. There's a lot of ambiguity even despite that, because anything can turn up anytime. So I usually tend to carry right from the wide angles to the macro to mid-tele lens, so that generally one is sort of ready for anything that can turn up. But nature photography, yes, as I said, it has both a mix of the unplanned and the planned. Well, Nikon has been there with me right from, except as I said, the first few months when I had a box camera and another small camera. Nikon has been with me right since 1971 or so. And I've loved it. I mean, the fact that, all my old lenses I could use on the latest bodies and all those sort of, those are tremendous advantages. But also I found that for the Indian conditions, I found Nikon was far more suitable. It was far more minimalistic in terms of, the technicalities involved. It's a relatively simpler sort of procedures of most of the Nikon equipment. It's also very hardy and tough for the conditions. India is not like, a lot of the Western countries with, so there's a lot of climatic variations, there's a lot of heat and dust and all kinds of other factors to be taken into consideration. So all those put together, I kind of weighed all the options and have stuck to Nikon, and it's really been wonderful, because one is, as I said, the whole range of equipment which is there, which is interchangeable and usable so easily, and also tremendous amount of servicing help which is there, which has a good sort of network pan-India. So, and also a lot of people obviously sort of opt for Nikon. So sometimes in the field there are situations that arise where you have to suddenly need something which you may not have, and somebody or the other is always around. So it's been a tremendous help, right from macro to wide angle to telephoto. There's a great deal of variation, and keeping up with the technology and the advancements obviously it pays a lot. So I've been very happy, and have been. Yeah, really, I mean, it's never been something like this. You know, the sheer number of people interested in photography and going out is phenomenal in the last couple of years, the last few years at least. In fact, there are many outings that I sort of accompany or lead, some bird watching or some such programs where I like to guide, and I'm amazed at the sheer number of cameras and the big lenses that sort of pop out, you know. And I remember when we were young, it was, you know, one camera here or one there and sort of that kind of a thing. So obviously it's good to see that kind of level of interest and involvement that is there. But I find that a lot of the passion for nature, for wildlife is missing in photography, in photographers today, and generally in people at large. Everybody just wants to shoot. And obviously one of the main criterion for their, you know, aiming for that is social media, where they want to in 2 minutes put up the picture. And so that is the sad part of it, that the passion, that involvement, that level of involvement and observation. A lot of people are not observing things, they are shooting things. They just want to photograph, they don't want to look at things in the field, they just want to shoot it, and they say anybody can identify it later, and you know, so on and so forth. And one of the wonderful ones is what you people do at Nikon, which is the Nikon School. And it gives such a wonderful opportunity for people to not just participate, you'll also help them, you know, visit places on site. So it's learning on location, whether it's wildlife sanctuaries or any other sort of locations that you select and let people participate in it. But also, more importantly, the access to equipment which otherwise a lot of people would be denied. You know, they would not have access to some really prime equipment that you guys sort of bring out on the field during the workshops. So that gives wonderful opportunity for people, besides obviously helping promote the you know, Nikon as a product, but more than that, the opportunity that it gives people to be able to fiddle with equipment and to learn about it from technical experts from Nikon who are obviously always at hand to, you know, teach them the finer aspects of photography. So all of that plays a very critical role in shaping up one's sort of attitude towards photography, and whether it's wildlife or landscape or architectural, whatever there is, but it's a very useful tool, I think.